Hey guys, welcome to Just So Bored again. Today, hopefully this will be somewhat of a simple video. I'm going to be changing out a faucet on the sinks. I actually already did one, and the reason why we're changing them out is because of these plastic lines that they put in my house. One sprung a leak and obviously caused an issue. So I figured if I'm going to start changing these out, I'll go ahead and change all of them out, and I'm going to also change out the faucets in the sinks. So that's what we're going to do. So here are some of the basic tools. I got some putty, I got some tape, plumber's tape, and a few extra tools just to remove the nuts and parts that are under here. And we'll go over that. Like I said, we're replacing these plastic hoses with braided steel. They're 20-inch, 1/2 inch by 3/8, so you can see there. And I'm also putting some shark bites to make it quick and simple. And this one is 1/2 inch to 3/8. All this stuff, Lowe's, Home Depot sells it, and then the choice of the faucet you want. So here we go. So here's the next step that I'm going to show you, or I guess maybe even the first step. I don't ever remember already. So here we go. You want it to look like this. So I preset it up already. Since these are all compression fittings, they just get pushed onto your pipe or PEX. All I'm doing right now is I'm setting up the next one, putting on the tape, and it's going to go on this end right here. You screw it on, and you're ready to go, and it's going to look like this. And apologize for the mess. I got stuff from my kids and stuff on the sink. But I took everything out of the boxes, and here we go. So this is the bottom of my sink here, and this is where we're going to start. You might want to shut off the water. Just a recommendation on my behalf. No, seriously. Make sure you shut off the water to the house, because as soon as you take these hoses off, you're going to get wet. And you'll see. Hopefully I can do this one-handed so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But you will get wet, so get some towels, get a little casserole or something, and catch the water in a bucket, something that'll fit down here, because you will get wet. So shut off the water to the house. These are a pull. You hear that click, both sides. Shut those off. It won't really matter. I'm just doing it just because. But because I'm going to actually cut these off to make this easier to come off. So these pieces of plastic here, these hoses, what you have to do if you ever ran into these, and I don't know the name of them, the official name, but you have to pull and twist to remove them. After you do that for about 1 or 2 turns, then you just keep turning without having to pull, and they'll come off. And they take quite a few turns. So we'll give it a shot here in a second. Let me get set up, put some towels down here below, and I'll show you how to remove these. Okay, so I put a towel down here. So here it goes. I'm going to cut these, and I want to cut them as close as possible just because it's easier to twist without less stuff getting in the way. So as soon as I do this, water will come out. There you go. So to get these out, pull and twist. And even after these come out, you're going to get a little bit of water coming out of the line. Because remember, you shut them off. Alright, now that I got about 2 or 3 turns out of it, and I can twist it about another 4 or 5 times, and it should come off. And there you go. So like I said, you're going to get some water coming out of it. That's why you want to make sure you got a good towel or a bucket or something. But it'll stop. So there you go. So now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So I'll be right back.
A few minutes later.
Okay, so I got both off, as you can see. The hoses are hanging there. You can get under there and remove them. And all you do is twist. Or you can leave them on until you take off. But I'm going to go ahead and remove them by twisting them off. Done. Okay, so I took off both hoses. They're right there, got more room. I also took off the little piece of metal that connects to here that lifts this up. So my next step is I'm gonna loosen this, which I had already started loosening it a little bit, so it's free. All right, I'm gonna loosen this one up here. But what you want to do is loosen this as well, and this should come free from here. Then loosen the nut, and you should be able to take that pop off up. And by the pop off, I mean this part right there. Now I need both hands to get a wrench on here, or pliers on here and pliers on here, so that this can come off. So I will show you as soon as I get this off what it looks like. All right, so I went ahead and loosened this with my pliers, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it all the way down and there. I don't want to show you all the nastiness, but you'll probably see it here in a minute. So I loosen this as well. I'm gonna twist this out of the way, so I'm gonna loosen this nut a little bit, which it looks like they put it on crooked. There we go. Be careful. There's junk in there that's gonna fall out. So, yeah, pretty gross. Move that out of the way. We can now take this out. Hold on to the nut. You'll need it for the next installation. Now we're gonna go ahead and loosen this. All right, so I got the nut off finally. So now what we're gonna do is we are gonna remove the pop-up up here. So, just gonna push up, comes out, and you're done. Now make sure to clean all that up, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our putty, we're gonna add some putty on there, and we're gonna put the new one of these, which is right over here, in there. So I'm gonna clean it up and I'm gonna show you. Okay, so what I did is I took my putty in my hand, I got a generous amount, I rolled it out, and then I made it into like a long little rope pretty much, and I circled it around the hole, as you can tell. Just make sure you got a decent seal. Now you can put your new piece in here, just work it in. There we go. Now you're gonna get, as soon as you start tightening the nut underneath it, which is gonna go underneath here in a second, you are gonna have putty come out. Just remove the excess here in a second when you're done. But that should be it. So let's go ahead and put this on. Here we go. So make sure to put this seal in first. It goes up like this. Now that you saw me slide the piece in, this part in, we're gonna go ahead and, before we nut it up, or I'm gonna actually start it just so it's not falling here. So I can get started with one hand here. But what you wanna do is slide this in here. So let's make sure we have all our pieces. We're gonna go ahead and put the nut and plastic here. Slide it up. Now you gotta get this in here. So let's see how this works out. Should have done this before. It's gonna be a little difficult, but here we go. Okay, so I slid this into here. I have everything loose because I want to make sure that this all works. Always loosen all your fittings just to make sure, so you can get everything lined up. Nothing's ever square or perfect in a house, new or used, but do your best. So make sure you have everything lined up. So I recommend is tightening this first, so you get an idea of where you're going to be, which I'm going to have to use both hands for that to hold it and tighten it, and then you can start tightening back. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, everything's nice and tight, so let's go up here. And as you can see, there's a lot of excess, so just go ahead and remove that. You'll be fine. You can just throw it away. I won't necessarily use it, just throw it away. There you go, clean. So next step, we're gonna remove this. We're gonna go underneath. There's gonna be two nuts, one under each side. We're gonna remove them, and that should remove the whole faucet. Okay, as you can see, sorry about this, it's gonna be hard. There's a nut right here. There's a nut over here on this other side. And you also wanna remove this piece here. So just with the pliers, or you could use even a socket maybe in this case. Whatever you got, just go ahead and take those off. After you remove those, you'll be able to take off the faucet. So I'm going to go ahead and remove them, and then I'll show you when I remove the faucet. Alright, so I went ahead and removed the screws underneath, or the nuts, sorry. Not the screws, the nuts. And this should come right out. You might have to work it a little bit because these pieces are not exactly straight. But there you go. That is out. So for my sink, in my case, which I'm gonna go ahead and clean this, you have this piece of plastic that's gonna go on first, and then you're gonna have this come on, and the actual faucet, and then these are the nuts that get screwed on down here. One on each side, that's what's gonna tighten from underneath. Okay, so I cleaned it. I set this there. It tells you actually front and up or top. So sorry you can't see that. Might not be able to make that out. But next goes the faucet. So here goes. Just put this in there, make sure it lines up, which it should. And you just center it as best as you can to where you believe it belongs. So that seems pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these nuts. I'm gonna slide them underneath and I'm gonna tighten them. And I will show you after they're done, the next step. All right, the faucet's on. And I'll show you down below here. Sorry. Let's see if we can see it. So as you can see, I got both nuts on there. So I'm gonna now put the shark bites on next. And I'm gonna start with this one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna put this on first on the faucet, and then I'm gonna push the shark bite on next. It'll be easier that way than pushing it on and then trying to get this on there. Okay, so as you can see, I got the hoses on. Next, and sorry about my fingers, they're in the way. I'm trying to keep them out. But next comes the shark bites. So, depends how you want to do this. I just go direct. All you gotta do is work them in. And you'll feel them when they've hit the back. Just give it a good tug and you should be fine. And I recommend keeping these closed just because, so you can see when you turn on the water if you have a leak here, and then slowly open it for your faucet. But I'm gonna do the same thing for the next side, and we should be ready to rock and roll and test out the faucet. All right, so I had my son turn on the water. So far there's no leaks on the shark bite, so we're good. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this one on. So we have no leaks. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this one on. Good to go, no leak there. And we got water. But while I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and show you this. So this is the pop-up in my sink. So I chose these instead. So instead of having a little pull rod back here, I chose a pop-up, and these are simple. All you're doing now is pushing down and it's installed. And let me show you how easy it is. So there, water doesn't collect, right? Running free. Next, simple pop. And water collects. And this will help me with the next test that I'm gonna do, which I'll show you right now anyways, is I'm gonna make sure that as soon as I open the pop-up, the plumbing here doesn't leak, which it probably would have already since I ran water through it. I'm gonna turn the water on. it looks like everything's good to go. So the last thing is just double check the hot, open it up, and that's it. We got the installation complete. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully I did all right, especially with one-handed trying to do this. If you have any questions or things, leave comments down below. Hope to see you guys next time when we're just so bored again. Catch you later.